I have absolutely no idea how we would have ever known that it was snowing on the night of the incident unless we had a meteorologist testify and tell us. Day 10 of Karen Read's trial has wrapped up, and here's what happened today. Hi, my name is Sydney Rushing. I'm a criminal defense attorney in the state of Michigan. Now let's talk about it. The morning started with the continuation of Gallagher's cross-examination. Really, the first thing that they addressed was about this leaf blower, because I think the defense is still as perplexed as I am. He said that he didn't locate any pieces of tail light or a shoe, that he only located the broken glass and blood. Jackson questioned him about when he returned back to the house that afternoon, why he didn't ask permission to search around, do what cops do when, there's a body found on their front lawn and they have no idea why it's there, police work. Why would they ask the homeowners anything to try and rule them out as suspects? He agreed that it was a possibility that John could have been in a fight. He also said that although Brian is a Boston police officer, that he received no special treatment. But I think we can all agree that that's not true, because he was never deemed to even be a person of interest, even though this happened directly on his lawn. Knowing that the deputy chief lived right across the street, he was asked why he didn't ask him for his video footage. And Gallagher basically said, I knew it wouldn't show anything because he sent me screenshots before. I can see what his camera, covers and what it sees. And it's just the front porch area. And when Jackson pressed him on it and asked a question that is a very simple question of essentially you don't know what the settings were or what that camera could see, could you? And of course, Gallagher, instead of just saying no, it's not my camera, not my house, not my app, I don't know what it was set to that day. It wasn't a question to try and get you. But then, Gallagher just goes and tries and explains away how he knows it wasn't this or couldn't have been that. When realistically, the answer is just, it's not your camera. You don't know what the settings were that day. You were just a shitty investigator and didn't go ask for it, thinking maybe, just maybe, it might show something. He then testified how Brian Higgins is a good friend of his that he socializes with. Higgins is an ATF officer, and his office, his satellite office, is actually in the Canton Police Department. He said he never interviewed Higgins because the police department recused themselves before he even learned that he was part of the party that night. He said that he never saw Chloe in the house when he went there. And of course, he was asked about the questionable evidence collection and storage. And you know what? At the end of the day, I get it. When you're on a scene and you need to collect something, you got to use what you got to use. But the fact of the matter is that he went to the police department before he went to the scene. So why he didn't grab an evidence kit is just beyond me. He agreed that nothing was sterile, that nothing was sealed. And when asked about cross-contamination, he essentially said the evidence was in good hands, so I wasn't worried about that. And then had to come back and agree that, anything is a possibility. And then things heated up when Gallagher said that he didn't search the house or didn't try to get a search warrant, which is probably something that a lot of officers would have done, aka search the crime scene. Jackson pointed out that he wouldn't be spanked or grounded if he submitted a search warrant and that search warrant was denied. Gallagher followed up and essentially said that he would have had to twist the facts or twist the information that he had already to put it on an affidavit to have it be considered, to get this search warrant. He didn't want to do that because then that could put him on a Giglio list, which, yes, is a list for officers that lie under oath and, potentially is career ending. So y'all know the bar on getting those things granted is very low. Dead guy, front lawn, he was with the people prior to this incident happening or unaliving, you know what I mean? Boom, there you go. And the exchange kind of ended with Jackson basically saying that Gallagher didn't do anything else to try and get more information to get a search warrant. Redirect was short, and he told Brennan that he had full faith confidence in the criminologist who had, the evidence. Then, of course, 2 more video clips of Karen's interviews were played. The ones that wouldn't exist if she would have just exercised her Fifth Amendment right. First one, Karen basically said that John got out of the car, grabbed her full glass of vodka and soda. Ew. The second one, Karen was basically explaining where John was and where she thought, did I, potentially run over his foot when I was pulling off? Could I have clipped him? That was that. And then witness number 19, Robert Gilman, was called to the stand, and he's a meteorologist. Because obviously, without him testifying, there is zero other way that we would have known that it was snowing at that time. There's a 60% chance that it's already raining. Yes, that's a Mean Girls reference. He said that, it was the biggest snowstorm that they've ever had at that time in January. He talked about the visibility, snowfall, wind chill, temps, weather stuff. Personally, I think that this was a witness that was not needed. It's just adding more information to the jurors' minds that they essentially already knew. And let's be honest, we know that we can't trust weather people. They literally will sit in your face and tell you that it's going to rain today so you don't water your plants. And next thing you know, there's never a cloud in sight the entire day. We know it. We all know it. Then a motion was heard regarding the Sandra Birchmore case, and I'm going to do a separate video on that one. And witness number 4, Nicholas Guarino, who was called the first day of trial, was recalled. He's a digital forensics expert with the Massachusetts State Police. He's the one who extracted the data from the phone. Then they used a PowerPoint presentation, which I'm all about visual aids. It obviously showed the phone activity between Karen and John. Timestamps were just after 12:30 to just about 6 a.m. There was about 44 missed calls, I think 8 voicemails, and 4 text messages sent between this time. Obviously, she's very upset during these voicemails. In the text message, just after 1 o'clock, she told him that she was back in Mansfield and the kids were alone. And, she did accuse him of cheating on her with another woman. Now, any woman who has been through this where their significant other either isn't answering their calls, it's super late, they haven't been home or whatever, they've done the same thing. I can't even sit here and tell you that I haven't done that because I have. Women, we worry. And that's just the end of it. Then the court broke for lunch. When they returned from lunch, the defense declined to do cross-examination at this time. And then another clip was played. And of course, it was the one where she says, I don't think I hit him, but could I have clipped him? That one. Then witness number 20, Lieutenant Charles Ray, was called to the stand. He's with the Canton Police Department. His testimony was short. He basically said that he was called in to do a wellness check at John's house, and they went there, they looked around for 5 minutes and didn't see anyone. See, short, sweet, to the point. None of all this background stuff that usually takes up the first 10 minutes of questioning. The last witness of the day to be called was witness number 21, Lieutenant Kevin O'Hara, who is with the Massachusetts State Police. Again, Brennan started off the questioning going into very details about his training and his career. He's part of the CERT team, which is the Special Emergency Response Team branch of the Massachusetts State Police. They received a call to come help search for evidence. There were several tools that were used to get through the snow, which included brooms, shovels, garden rakes, and they obviously left their platinum level leaf blower at home. During their search, they located pieces of taillight at ground level and a shoe that had snow in it. Pictures of this were also shown. And of course, we have another crappy report writer because O'Hara didn't mark the depths and things like that of the pieces of the taillight that they found. If we're going to the point that we're calling a meteorologist in to talk about the weather and talk about this snowfall, I think it's pretty important to mark what layer of the snow you found these pieces in. The search started later in the afternoon, approximately 5:20 p.m. and lasted almost an hour. On cross-examination, Jackson asked him why there wasn't any police tape or crime tape out securing the scene. Essentially said that it wasn't, but at the same time, they knew that the snow hadn't been disturbed. Jackson pointed out that they weren't sure where they were going to be searching and could somebody have basically snuck into this little part where they ended up searching. And O'Hara basically said that he wasn't focused on that area at the time. In relation to the question regarding where and when they found evidence, he stated that it is important, but it's up to the incident commander to make that decision. There was some pointing out about the differences between the grand jury testimony of O'Hara and his testimony today. Jackson asked him if he asked Tolley for a photo of whatever they were going to be looking for, and he said that Tolley said that they didn't have a photo because the car was still in transport. On redirect, he said they didn't notice any officers throwing anything on the ground. Showed a few more taillight photos. Said that the search looked like it happened with fresh, undisturbed snow. But again, this is almost 12 hours later, right? So there's that. And on recross, Jackson pointed out that Karen's SUV was actually at the Canton Police Department a mile and a half away since 5:30 p.m. And court concluded for the day. So thank you for being here and for following along. And my question of the day is, if you heard the voicemails, is this something that you think is out of the ordinary for someone who's upset and their significant other not talking to them or not being home?